Welcome all, welcome to the shit show. This is your host, Thunder Drummer, about to do another improv story time. Um, this story is highly influenced by something that was incomplete. Basically, what they did is threw like four stories together, so I'm doing my own in my own way. Um, it is vastly different from one another, and this is also chapter two when she finally gets up the nerve to run away. All right, we come back. Um, we are our protagonist is serving dinner. He still has this really unique smell that she's smelling that her wolf inside of her is kind of freaking out about, but keeps her wolf at bay, pushing the time that she does her first shift back as much as possibly can. Well, she goes out of her way to learn all these different new recipes to make sure everybody else on the show is, or everybody else of the new guests that's coming to try to get a deal done, it's all taken care of. After dinner, she does a room by room check to see if anybody needs anything. Of course, she knocks for several of the places were occupied or they had something on the door signaling that they are busy. Busy. Then she gets to this, and then she ends up heading up to the Alpha Suites, because she knew that the other Alpha is there of the biggest pack and definitely wanted didn't really want to mess with them at all. Well, went to the other people in the Alpha wing, Alpha floor wing, something like that, and goes in and she knocks on the door. She waits a little bit. She knocks on the door again, a little bit louder this time. There ain't no answer, no yep, or she opens the door. The door wasn't even locked. Up to see the the daughter of the place, um and the other Alpha just going at it. And something in her shifts at that moment. Like a great pain happens. She doesn't understand what's the Alpha quickly looks up as the door shuts and she ends up running away down to her room in the dungeon. Um she ends up hiding in there for a while until she finally falls asleep on um all covered up, the ball. The next morning, she gets up, she's all crooked for a minute. Um, then she goes up and starts her kitchen duties. Goes in and starts cooking breakfast and everything. Gets breakfast served to all of the new guests, and she was taking a 5 minute break outside in the garden before she started taking it up for all the rooms. When the next thing heard is a crack, like a major pain just started happening in the back of her head, jettisoning her forward, and then she ends up hitting the concrete a concrete container on one of the garden in the garden where there's like a big old centerpiece, then there's walkways around, and then there's this little concrete thing that beside the walkway. She ends up smacking that before she realized. She turns around and looks directly at her alpha, which he ends up picking her up by the hair all the way up and then tossing her up in the air a little bit to grab her neck. So, what the fuck did you do last night? Are you so much of a perv you wanted to watch our my daughter? And he throws her back up in the air again, like hits her in the stomach super hard. Like, I was spitting out a little blood, just doing my job. No one answered or said anything. And I was checking on the alpha to see. Hit the face really hard, a couple teeth. Where she starts scooting back. Her wolf is madder than fire at the moment. And her wolf realizes just then and there he was never our alpha. That we technically never had a pack. The wolf did a wolfy type grin. And it's like, sorry about this. And then, boom, comes in for another. And her eyes go extra purple. And she comes around, elbows the dude in the face. And then starts changing for the first time. This air pressure started building up around her, trying to prevent her from changing, but she ends up. The wolf is so ticked off at it bursts through this air pressure looking thing, and she finally comes out, which is a big black wolf with purple eyes with hints of purple on the some of the hairs here and there. Like, it's gives it more of a, depends on what angle you see. You see more black, and then another angle, because of how the fur is, you see a little bit more of the purple. But anyway, comes out and starts and just wail, knocks the alpha out cold as soon as she jumps up and just lands on him, both paws. First two paws hit like right here and right here. The other two paws hit like actually probably around the groin area, and does a deep seated growl while she while the girl inside is panicking. What the fuck did you just do? Run! Land on it. And then bolted. Stopped for a second, sniffed the air. The wolf spirit ends up whining for a second and then just bolts through the woods. Four or five warriors start giving chase because somebody just attacked the alpha and had no idea who it was. But this wolf was so stinking rotten fast and nimble. Like, it was actually jumping from tree to tree, using its tail to move around to give greater distances, used its mouth to pull up. I mean, it was like, think of a monkey that looked like a wolf just darting through the trees. Um, and she just starts running as fast as she can, knowing that she's actually running from her mate too, but knows that it's way too early. This girl is way too broken for that. He keeps running and running and running until but it seems like days without no food, no water, just running. He finally clears the wood and goes smacks right into this house. Broke through the barrier that was around the house, but smacked right into the house, not realizing that there's a house there, and he ends up knocked out cold. All right, the Alpha's POV, the one that just got really fuckered, up waking up. There's two burn marks in his clothes where it has scars, burnt scars right there, and then down by his groin too. And he's like, I tries to talk to his wolf to heal it, but his wolf was, I did everything I could because of the type of ability that that mystic wolf used. That's about as good of that it's ever gonna get. Um, which super surprises our our little servant girl did this. Uh, the Luna ends up popping in and is like, "You're awake, finally. You're not fully healed though, but you're awake at least." Yeah, yeah. Did anybody catch the servant girl? Um, no. She took off after she assaulted you. Guess it was only a matter of time. Don't waste any effort trying to find her. We have other problems on hand. Trust me, I know. Comes to find out that servant girl or the or Maya actually been the mate of the other alpha the hybrid alpha. Trust me, I know. Wait, 8? Oh, shit. Really? Grins or bites down on his teeth. Can't believe it. I just can't. Girl, that strong? It's absolutely bonkers. Yes, it is, but it is what it is. Ugh. And the door, this really muscular dude with black hair right here, kind of shaved as that back in a with a leather jacket on, tattoos everywhere. They're finally awake. Uh, yeah, who was the girl who girl was a servant girl, less than an omega, that owes this pack her life and just bolted on us. Hit me with some strange power and then gone. Don't really know much about her other than she lived here most of all of her life. If you find her, she comes back. I hope you're smart enough to send her my way. That girl was mine. Soon as I gave up and was going to give in to the council on taking the Luna, chosen Luna, that girl shows up. Uh, I know. Trust me, I know. It kind of. So what are we gonna do about our alliance? If you promise to help us find the girl, we will go through the alliance. But no, I will not choose your daughter as my Luna. If I can find my real mate, that's all that matters. Uh, we will do everything to find her. As that goes back, it goes back down to our our main antagonist, the Broken Mystic. Wakes up, exhausted, mouth parched, hungry, with this older woman just rocking it. You awake, my dearie? How are you feeling? I need to get a number of that truck that or should I say house. I was running towards through some woods, and then out of the blue, I hear a shattering, and damn, knocked myself the fuck out. Language theory, language can't have you. You and a wolf are different than the wolf I've ever seen. I am a witch called Isabella. What is your name? She rolls around. She was about to give um her actual name, but then stops for a second. Like, call me Star. That old name wasn't my own anyway. You are different. You are a mystic wolf. Does a little grin. It's time that show you just how special you are. What do you mean? Um, Star says. What do you mean? Who have I was like a witch wolf mind, but not really. For all nature's magic around you, stone, wood, grass, dirt, wind, sky, air, light, darkness. But it's rare for a mystic wolf to be black. Here, I'm not all the way black, I don't think. I have like what it looks like purple highlights. That's even more rare, dude. I've never seen a light, but it's time that we start building you up and training you a little bit, girl, before you let your own magic overwhelm you. Like what I suppose you did when you had to run away from wherever you did. Run away from being beat for 900th time. You know, my wolf kind of um, healed most of my wounds. I didn't know I could do on the scars and wounds that you get before your first shift. That was your first shift. Do you realize you busted through a ninth level barrier? I don't even know what that means, to be honest. Do you ever taught anything, girl? I was taught to do everything I can not to avoid a fist to my face. I was forcibly ripped out from school, and I know how to clean and cook. I was less than an omega in my pack, which I don't think it's even my own. He goes to think, "Hey, Wolf, you still there?" Okay, let me sleep. I'm tired. And then she goes, her wolf goes right back. Lord, Lordy Lord. Where the girl gets up and then finally goes and meets the rest of the people in the area, which are mainly witches and a few warlocks and a few sorcerers and a one or two mages, and they all start teaching her different styles of magic and how to reach her inner. So, like, 10, no, not 10, about 5 years pass. She is roughly about 24 years old. Oh, she's 24 years old. She was about 18 years old when all this happened. Um, she wears contacts to cover up her purple eyes and stuff, and she's actually living in the human world. She still keeps contacts with the that little magical community that she ends up smashing in, make, and first time in her entire life that she has started actually being treated like a anywhere near human or anything. But she is heading up to her first job interview. um, she starts finally makes it up to the office of the her boss. Walks in. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. My tire blew out on my bike on my way here and almost crashed. And I had to run the west way here. That's okay. Thank you for the call and letting us know beforehand. Alright. And then she gets in, gives her speech where she just graduated from college, um, and all that stuff. Um, the dude is impressed with her and then asked her, with the job title that you have, that you'll sometimes have to run and do different places. And then she hesitated for a second. And it's like, there's certain places I won't be able to go to because I know this is the human world, but I am a wolf, a werewolf. The guy thinks that she's crazy for a second. It's like, so she transforms one of her hands to a claw and then right back. So there's certain packs and stuff I would have to contact beforehand before I can deliver anything to them. Werewolves, yes, but that will be fine. And then he he starts talking back and forth exactly what everything is, the advantages of having her on staff and everything. And he finally agrees to giving her a chance, while he also recognizes that there are certain things that, because she's a supernatural, and then he proceeds to say that they have a few um, supernatural people already on staff. They, but he's not allowed to tell anybody about who's what and what's who. Because that's still their private business. But and ends up getting her trained up, and it takes her about another year to get to be where she's super thriving at her business. She's going back and forth. They're giving her a lot more responsibilities and everything every day. And I just realized Grogu looks like he's pointing his ass at me over there. I have to turn that around. Sorry about that. But of course, she still talks with her friends at the magical community, and even has her own house that's hers. But so this is about 6 or 7 years later from when they first met in the magical community. And because of her being supernatural, the company actually uses that to actually send her to different places that a normal human would end up getting frightened off about, or and the nature of this business ends up trailing to all they have. They do a little bit of everything above board, of course, but they do everything from offensive capabilities, security, to getting certain um, stuff ratified, um, to getting buildings of supplies to places, to, I mean, a little bit of everything, even like getting farming and stuff set up. And she's been thriving. He even actually made her a few friends, but she's still sketchy from time to time, and won't give anybody a chance to actually date her or anything yet. But she's thriving. She goes to this big natural nature park, up running there to let her wolf out um close to the full moon. She's running back and forth. She's selling at her job. But like I said, there's been more than once where she's had to call the place and had to hand off her load to another person because the packs and stuff won't deal with a road whatsoever. Well, everything is fine with that, and that's one of the reasons why she contacts them and everything. so she doesn't really put them in any bad spot. She's back at her because she has an apartment in the city, and she also has the place that she goes back to in the weekends. That's so she continue her magical lessons and stuff. Well, one day she's making a phone call about to make go and get some contracts and stuff signed by this um magical community, another magical community. They talk back and forth. She explains to him she's gonna, if that's okay, and explains to her what she is. She's a werewolf and everything that also has some magical abilities and stuff too. So it's they like, oh, okay, and everything. So like, I'll start driving over there, let you sign the paperwork, and we'll get things started rolling for you. Because you need, you're gonna build an academy. You needed some defensive, non-lethal defenses, ways to get set up and taken care of. So she ends up getting on her ninja bike, which she loves the thrill of being on a bike. Attaches everything, all of her documents and everything, to a super secure box that's mounted to the side of her bike, and she takes off. About 3 hours later, she's getting near the house, or what she thought was a house, which was actually a super big mansion. She feels kind of off here though. It's like something inside her is pulsating. Um, she's wondering, what the heck is this? Um, she goes to the door with her briefcase in hand, knocks on this door, and this super beautiful woman in front of her answers, and is like, who may you be? This girl looks her up and down, and then something hits her like, oh, my poor girl. And then the girl, stay here, please. Turns around and runs for the count, or the lead counsel, which is the girl who she was um explains to her that there's this person at the door. Like, oh yeah, I expect, and then she tells her that she's a mystic, but a wolf mystic. Like, excuse me? There ain't no way. Um, yes? Oh, I don't think she knows either. Uh, bring her to conference room one, and I'll be right in there. And she does as she says and takes her. As soon as the lead woman of this place uh walks into the door, she stops, looks. Holy shit. uns the um our protagonist star gets up and hits a quick bow, like, nice to meet you. I'm here to. Before all that, you said you were a werewolf, correct? Yes. Did you know? And then you said you were able to use some magic. Yes. But that ain't what's important right now. We need to get to business, not on what I am. Girl, everything matters on who you are. What do you mean by that? My girl, you're a werewolf mystic. Alright, and that's where we're cutting here for today. I just think it's a good place to, it's like shock factor and everything. Like the broken mystic. You're a werewolf mystic as she's trying to do business. Alright, if you end up liking this, I'm doing at least two more videos on this, but every 4 likes will guarantee I continue the story um past the 4 episode mark. I hope you enjoy this one. It's a little bit shorter, but for some people you probably enjoy that better. Like and subscribe if you like what I do. I have some music of different bands I was in. I primarily do the improv story stuff. And peace out.